point, these players are gonna have a good attitude about it and pop off. As I'm looking at the names: T, Slender, Scrap's Mentor, Adam, Zant, Redstorm, Kaizen, and Dare are all gonna go at it for glory in the Call of Duty Rec League. So as things pop off, what are you seeing? What are you seeing?
Well, mainly it's teams trying to get set up. T grabbing the opening first kill here as this P1 is really just a give or take. It's a slaughterfest almost, and I think the reason a lot of these players are not a huge fan of this map is just there's a lot of open ground to cover and not too much cover to protect them. As you can see, Scraps on the high ground just able to beam players from on high before getting taken down himself. Again, not a lot of cover to push up on, and now Seattle Sloths able to just poke and prod at Chicago Hunted on the outside. T here getting a nice flank, picks up the two-piece. Slender is able to grab the one, but Dare holds strong to keep Seattle Sloths on the point and keep Chicago off of it.
And it's been the first couple of points going in favor of Chicago Hunted right now. Seattle Sloth having a hard time really finding those slays throughout the team. All those kills, excuse me, you know that Halo lingo is still burned into my mind right now on Kaizen's.
Kills, elims, takedowns, whatever you want to call them, they're getting them, plain and simple. And Chicago Hunted taking the
So
early
true.
lead here.
Yeah. And I think right now this map is going to set the rhythm of the series. We're going to see Chicago Hunted potentially really be dominant, play a little bit of bully ball these first couple minutes of this map, and Seattle Sloths just now picking up the pace, getting the first couple ticks on the hard point after giving up about 40 seconds to Chicago Hunted, and it's just back and forth right now with Chicago Hunted still able to maintain their lead for the moment as Seattle Slots are gaining their rhythm.
Yeah, I really saw a bounce back from Seattle, but the important thing with hardpoint a majority of the time is how well you can win your rotations. T here waiting in the corner but gets caught out, and now a complete overtake from Seattle on this P3 sets them up for success and should be able to take the lead. Slender here on the outside gets one, wants another, can't get the third, but a valiant two-piece clears the hill, and just like that, Chicago Hunted back to dominating on the hard point. And that is why you cannot have three players all facing the same way. Protect your flanks, Seattle. Protect your flanks always.
And just interesting seeing the difference of the play style between this and the competitive state of Halo right now. Just seeing this game and seeing how a lot of people aren't really sticking with their teammates, and I know how the TTK is really quick in Call of Duty. As we see a little bit of body disrespect, if I'm not wrong. These teams really getting locked in here, having just some fantastic moments of competitive action in the first couple minutes of this map. I know Chicago Hunted are still maintaining their lead by about 30 seconds, and Seattle Slots were finding the rhythm, but it's just not enough. While the performance behind Slender right now is what's dictating the pace of this lobby.
Yeah, a really, really dominant performance from Slender, like you said. Scraps also having a phenomenal game, and majority of Chicago Hunted either breaking even or going positive, and you see how badly that can affect the team like Seattle Sloss as they get left behind, down by close to a full hill time, around 60 points, and that's not easy time made up, especially on red card. Again, this map is very open, does not really forgive you if you make mistakes on your rotations. Kaizen trying to get there, and they do take over the hill, but for how long? Will it really be worth it towards the end as you're now find yourselves down by close to 60? Seattle Sloth slowly chipping away at that deficit, but it's not looking too good for them as we rotate on to our next hill.
Yeah, every time Seattle Slots are able to kind of get their time in the point, it's not for long. It feels like Chicago Hunted are just fearless off the spawn, pushing and with confidence and not having fear when it comes to this game. They know that they're going to be able to find one kill, two kills, potentially even three on this point right now, and it's up to Kaizen right there to make something happen. Unfortunately, gets taken out really before they can do damage on that actual point, and Chicago just continues to be dominant when it comes to the objective in this game. Seattle have some good slays. I think we're both kind of giving them some respect there. It's just on that objective efficiency. Chicago Hunted are being the hunters.
Yeah, absolutely. They're just way more efficient, and Seattle Sloths are trying to just play catch up for a majority of their time. They finally break onto the hill, but I don't think it'll be enough. You're about to join the 100-point club and the 100-point deficit as we reset hills. Dare here holding in mid, but this is no Dare program. People are still stimming up and taking all sorts of drugs in the Call of Duty, and they get taken out. A three-piece on the side of Chicago hunted and right back in it. Seattle Sloths again just trying to stem the bleeding. They are all going negative. Kaizen finally breaking even, but Adam's still on the hill and slowly climbing with that 3 streak. Should be trying to grab an RCXD similar to their squad mates as Seattle Sloths continue to try and find an answer to the Chicago Hunted offense.
Yeah, it just feels like the offense from Chicago Hunted are playing confident, like I keep saying right now, as there's trying to do some damage, but just gets taken out. It it feels like Chicago just know how to absorb that pressure that Seattle are putting on, and Seattle just keep W king a little bit. They're finally finding their objective efficiency, but just get taken out right there. Adam is just used to the player just laying down and trying to get that easy hill time. Does not allow the other team to get it, and right there, momentum just swings again in favor of Chicago Hunted when Seattle are finding their footstep.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Seattle's footsteps are basically as good as sliding on warm melted butter because they cannot find any sort of grip as they continue to get annihilated. A 3 streak for T, a 2 streak for Slender. Chicago Hunt is just slaying out 3, 2, 1. They're getting it done on the streak board, and you love to see it. And now, finally entering the 100-point club, they are locked in. Defense is set and ready. And right as I say that, T goes down, the caster curse comes in. Adam holding the line, trying to get in and break. Checks the corner, a little spin-a-rooney action, and Adam is there to break and save. Scraps and Slender there to assist as well. A beautiful play from Adam there, rotating in and around the objective to keep it in Chicago's hunted hands. Chicago
Yeah.
Hunted's hands. That's a tongue twister if I've ever heard one. Don't judge me, chat.
Yeah, in the first couple points that I'm kind of making a note of in red card and on this game mode is how important it is to play your life. I think in Call of Duty in my pubs I've really been playing a little careless, but here, even in a lower level skill lobby, if you can even call it that, competitively, you're really seeing just
You
players
said it, not
really
me, chat.
you see a lot of players really taking care of their life and not giving away dumb deaths unless they're unless they're really doing damage to the opposing team and getting something in return for that death. So right there, we're just seeing a fight
Boom.
at steps right there, and Chicago Hunted just entered 200 points while Seattle Sloth are just struggling to keep up right now. So I think we're going to see the story of the series unfold here in the first map, but I hope I'm proven wrong by the team from the Pacific Northwest.
Unfortunately, similar to the Pacific Northwest, they're about as effective as a wet forest right now, as Seattle Sloths continue to flounder here on the stage hardpoint. When you're down by this extreme of a deficit, it is nigh impossible to come back. Now, never say never. Zant just got a solid 2-piece and make it a 3 on the 4 streak. Finally going positive, trying to lift their team up from the ashes and grow like the roses of success as Chicago Hunted continues to have an open season on the Sloth Boys as they try to find a way to come back, but it is not looking too good. Chicago Hunted is just a stone's throw away from that illustrious 250W mark, and I think it's all but over here. Seattle Sloths are putting up a good fight, but it's too little too late, in my opinion.
Yeah, right now they're really finding that niche that they needed, that confidence that they have. Again, that objective efficiency. I think they're there. We just saw like 3 points of Chicago right next to the hard point, and they were ready for the push that Seattle were trying to make there, and it just was neutralized by the team in green. Light blue finally able to get some ticks on that point once again, but it might be a little too late, like you said. Slender with the killing spree right there. Just a good way to end this map if they're able to really close it out in this next couple, 30 seconds or so. But they have like less than 2 minutes left to bring it home for a map 1 victory. And this should be all she wrote. And if I'm Seattle Sloth, I'm just trying to end this map, get some nice couple kills right before we get the defeat screen so that we can move on with at least a little bit of momentum. And as I'm saying that, Seattle Sloth putting up a final fight.
Yeah, it's really just a last-ditch effort to it's basically like getting a touchdown in garbage time. Chicago Hunt is going to put this one away lickety split like it's nobody's business with a 250-122 score and just a solid job from the opening salvos. Chicago Hunted wins this one with impunity. And just for a little COD knowledge for you, when the opposing team or any team is on the hill, it will actually stop the clock. So it could be 2:49 with a second left, but so as long as Seattle Sloth was on the hill, they still would keep this match going. Either way,
To
Zant with the best
engagements
play.
at different points of the map, but this isn't a pub, so I expect everybody's going to play this pretty slow and pretty cautiously as we see T with the bomb, or excuse me, Scraps Mentor with the bomb start us off.
Yeah, a really good
Yes.
opening push here from T. Seattle Sloths able to disrupt a bit. Red Storm with the opening first blood, and first bloods are so critical in search and destroy. I can't stress that to. I can't stress that enough to you. Okay, so
Mhm.
99% of the time, or at least the stats are not there. If you grab the first blood, you are winning that round. It's just such a huge confidence boost for that team. Zant with some impressive
Oof.
movement, but it's not enough. Slender and company coming in, and Chicago Hunted taking down the Sloths once again, who are just a little too slow. I'm going to be making a lot of sloth jokes here, so just be ready for it. Descending from the heavens, a three-piece to start. Scrap's mentor, turning him to scrap, just like the robot skin that he is, sending him back to the junkyard. Good,
Taking notes
good
of that
stuff.
movement. Yeah, that, that
Hmm.
definitely was a bang and really has taught me to be on my toes during this round. So, as we flip sides right now, it's going to be interesting to see how Seattle decide to plant this bomb and the pace they decide to show.
Absolutely. I mean, it looks like they're going for the same push towards that basement objective. Dare and Kyson grabbing the first two piece, and now Chicago Hunted with their heels against the wall, trying to find a way out of this one. A 2v4 is not impossible to clutch, but it is incredibly difficult. T is able to even the odds a bit at 2v3, but now Adam taking down another. Now we're in a 2v2, a much more manageable situation. The movement from T, slipping and sliding around this map like it's summertime as Dare is left all alone. And this Dare program is underfunded and needs some help. Now 1v2. Dare, bobbing and weaving in mid, just trying to find a way to stay alive in this one, Queso.
Yeah, right there. It's interesting to see how they're playing their life from the back, trying to
Oh
catch the
boy.
team in green off guard. I think they will be able to find the sleigh, but
Oh,
don't
Adam,
get
baby!
turned on. Chicago
The turn.
close out that round,
The
and oof.
fadeaway from the 2v4. We'll watch it here. Adam on the banister, tightrope walking on the stairs, perfectly head glitched and took him out. And now that's a turn and burn if I've ever seen it. My goodness, pardon my French, but that was sexy as all get out. And that is why I love Call of Duty. The movement is impeccable and unmatched. Only thing that would have been better if he was dolphin diving backwards down those steps. My goodness.
It's definitely to take note of that this is only the first week of the COD Rec League, so it's just laying the
Wild.
foundation of what's going to be an interesting game to watch competitively. Right now, looks like T's playing with a little bit of confidence here, planning the point when Seattle could peek out and
Ooh.
do not get the first blood there. Adam, team in green from Chicago, gets that first kill, and now Red Storm gets taken out. It's going to
Oh,
be a slippery,
tough.
slippery slope. I think right
Oh,
now we're seeing
no dare.
I think we're seeing the consequences of that engagement we really got loud about. It's definitely something that will pivot momentum, and if you see your teammate get
Oh,
turned on
this is
like
too
that, it's gonna
perfect.
it's gonna be tough. And right there, gets taken out like a misfunctioning elevator.
I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but I think he just got shafted there a bit. Either way, 3-0 as Chicago Hunted continues to go on the hunt. It is open season on Sloths. They got plenty of tags. I don't know why you would need to hunt a sloth in the first place, considering they move at a glacial pace. But either way, the Sloths in trouble as they are down 3-0. Dropping in on the elevator shaft once again. T takes down Zan. Red Storm and company now trying to push in. T peeking, popping, and Red Storm able to return fire and get the trade. And now we start to see it sort of balance out a little bit. In that last round, it was a domino effect, and Chicago Hunted just kept stacking them and stacking them and stacking them. But now Seattle Sloths has at least a better chance of getting their first round in a 2v3. But right as I say that, it's immediately a 1v3. Red Storm going for the plant. Slender, like the Slender Man, getting in there, but it's going to be his teammate who gets the kill either way. And a solid, solid round for Chicago Hunted once again here on Protocol.
Yeah, this might be a quick
This
search and
elevator is getting so
destroy.
much attention. Almost every kill cam is just dropping in the elevator shaft and just limbs all the way.
And hopefully Seattle can actually respond here and get a first blood, as you say. Feels like whenever they are on the offense, they just kind of rush into plant, and Chicago are able to be a little bit more patient with their defense. And when the situation's reversed, it kind of is just constant. It just plays right for Chicago, and right now on
Mhm.
Scraps and Adams POV. Just looking at that
Woo.
point, acknowledge that there are two enemies in there. They can really trap them if they are just patient here. Don't rush in just yet. You're four rounds with the lead in this lobby, but no, that's why you get a little overzealous. You think you can take them out, and they respond with a nice little slay and a first
Oof.
blood. But no, Chicago Hunted are able to bring it back with 2 kills going
What? Oh, I'm
against
just
Seattle.
shocked. Red Storm just gave up all the control of that objective, backed into a corner, and died. I don't know what you were thinking, Red Storm, but you gave up all control there in the middle with the high ground. This will not be a repeat of Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan. 5-0 Chicago Hunted. Slender collected all 8 pages and sent Dare straight to the depths. He peeked up with his head on a drop shot. Come on, brother. Slender just making it look too easy as Chicago Hunted take the W. 5-0, looking for the 6-0 sweep. Apologies for the scoreboards, folks. I believe they are still glitched, but if you're looking for the appropriate KD, it's in the bottom right. A solid job either way from Chicago Hunted as they are just mowing through the sloths like they are freshly cut grass, and they need to shut that mower down some way, shape, or form. Throw a wrench into Chicago's plans because it's not looking too good, Queso.
Yeah, it's definitely a good match for Chicago, and I think they're getting a little too confident right there. Adam gets taken out for the second first blood, going in favor of Seattle
Oh boy.
in the last 2 rounds. Seattle finally finding their confidence and saying, if you're just going to W key us, we will still find the slay. Seattle need to play a little bit more tactically with a little bit more patience, because when they use their IQs, they definitely find those
Oh
slays
wow.
that Seattle won't have. And right there, we see a plant. This is crazy. Sant trying to do something that will just bring some confidence to their team.
I mean,
And
it's just rough to watch. You see streaks of 4 and 5. Chicago Hunted is getting out of this one alive, a 6-0, and they're gonna do a little trolling, I think, or at least allow their defuse go to Scraps, who is 9-1 on a 6 streak. Just showed Seattle Sloth who's business. Chicago Hunted did not come here to play. It's all business, Queso, and business is good if you're in Chicago, if you
uh,
catch my drift.
they might have a couple extra rounds when it comes to being in these eights lobbies throughout many games. Seattle, I don't know what their story is, what their lore is, where they came from, who decided, and why they decided to sign up for this competitive scene. But I hope that they take it, like you said, as a learning journey, because it looks like there's just a lot of experience coming from Chicago that is just displaying itself. Seattle had a decent little start, but get taken out immediately after getting 8 ticks on that point, and Chicago are going to make a statement and get that roller coaster run. And right now it's only up for here for the team in green, because Seattle is just going to have a hard time finding those slays, because if you look at that scoreboard, it's going to tell us the story of this match. And just as much as I think we're all kind of rooting for the underdogs here, the new kids on the block, Chicago Hunted, are definitely making a statement here and showing that their competitive experience. I don't know much about them, but I can
Yeah,
tell that
no, this
they
is team
are on
wipe
top of
right there.
comps.
A
And
5 streak,
exactly,
4
yeah.
streak, 1-1. Chicago Hunted is making it done and done as Seattle Sloths just continue to get absolutely eviscerated. Maybe change your name to something a bit more aggressive than a sloth, because my goodness, the Sloths are not looking too good right now. They need to get some pep in their step. The Chicago Hunted are taking the work with T and Slender, both going 4-0 and 6-0, or excuse me, 6-0 and 4-0 respectively. As T finally goes down, that's the caster curse, unfortunately, coming after them. As Slender last one up, and just a beautiful start for Chicago. Seattle Sloths able to take over on this P2, but will it be enough? I don't think so. Chicago Hunted off to a phenomenal start already, Queso. A really great job from Chicago.
Yeah, and we're seeing Seattle try to compete here, but it's not much. Just those raw kills right now are are, are being shelled out by Chicago. It is a furious start. T is popping off, and Slender has yet to die. So like you took note, it definitely is a statement from the team in green.
Yeah, and there's a big 3-piece with the Hellstorm missile courtesy of T. Kaizen trying to get that shot off and is able to secure it. Now rotating up, another 3-piece in favor of Chicago. Slender rotating onto Hill. Dare gets one but cannot get them all. And again, Chicago Hunted just breaking hills and breaking hearts here as they continue to dominate here on Rewind. They are returning their tapes on time. They are fully rewound how they're supposed to be. Kaizen with a nice little 2-piece in this little garbage area, which seems to be the safest spot. But hopefully you don't get dumpstered on, and they are doing the dumpstering, and now finally a shining light of hope as Kaizen starts to cook in the garbage area, but there's a nade to ruin it all. But still, Chicago Hunted up by about 33 right now and climbing. As long as Hunted can keep control of this, they got to watch the flank though.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little hard for Seattle to lock in mentally. This is a mixed league, so I'm not sure if these teammates are too familiar with each other. I hope that they are able to kind of slow down here, try to get some teamwork going. 'Cause it just seems like they're a little disorganized, while Chicago Hunted, like right there, they're always running in a pair, a little separated, and trying to make Seattle panic. And it's enough. That engagement
My
right there
goodness.
is just
Ooh,
oh my lord, that is just
Slender
Slender
man.
popping off right now
Whew.
with confidence flowing like it's a pub, and trying to give us one final statement to make this a quick 3-0 series. Gets
My
taken out
goodness.
right there.
Yeah, a valiant effort though on the hill, just solo defending, looking like Maximus Decimus Meridius out of the first Gladiator movie or something crazy. As Adam sneaks in, trying to find this player, gets onto the hill, and now basically a double-digit difference between Seattle Sloths and Chicago Hunted now, 103 to 53. Seattle just been playing catch-up pretty much since P1, and now just trying to find a way to bounce back as we get into the power room. Zant with a nice little 2-piece. Hopefully give some breathing room to their squad. Scraps mentor on the outside with Adam. A tough team nade. Unfortunately, Dare goes down to Adam. And again, a majority of Chicago Hunted slaying out with 3 out of 4 players in double-digit kills already, and the exact opposite happening for Seattle Sloths as they try to find a way back in this one. They're about to enter the 100-point club as Slender goes to work. Dare gets the double dare ya as Seattle Sloths try to find a way, but it's just bodies on bodies on bodies stacking up on this hill. T able to hold on for at least a little while longer as Seattle Sloths try to punch through, but it doesn't look like it's happening.
Yeah, and it's just a note that I've been saying throughout this series is Chicago's teamwork. I know that Call of Duty isn't as much as a team-based game as, Halo, but it's something that I love to take note of, and it's just
Oh,
It's just a
I
little
am
bit of
offended.
experience that shines through right there from Chicago and staying organized, not making dumb pushes collectively. It feels like whenever I'm looking at what's happening at the map, they always are together, and when they drop together. While Seattle are just always getting picked off 1, 2, 3, and are dependent on a massive pop off by Kaizen, honestly, to make something
Mhm.
happen and create space on the
Yeah,
map.
a real beautiful job, but it's not going to be enough. You cannot just have that lone wolf player, especially in hardpoint. You can do everything you can, but eventually you're going to have to reload. You're going to need cover. You're going to need somebody watching your six. And in Call of Duty, if you don't have that extra player helping you out, it is a very tall task to LeBron James a team and lead them to the finals and get them in a winning situation. Adam trying to turn and burn here on Red. Storm has the backup there from Slender, and it almost perfectly exemplifying my point. Having that teammate to back you up on hill and in the objective just is that winning factor as Adam continues to poke and prod on this OBJ from the outside. And now here comes the team push from Chicago. 1-2 down on Seattle side as Dare tries to get in there. Immediately gets taken out. Kaizen gets one. Is the last one close, but Slender going to be able to get onto Hill for Chicago. And just a really, really great team push from Chicago right there, if you ask me, Queso.
Yeah, that teamwork is definitely the 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 defining factor of what's been a dominant series from the team in green. Seattle are able to bring it back, but if you look at those KDs, like I keep saying, is it's just not enough. I am needing to tip the cap in saying that Seattle are finding their momentum. They slowly and surely do find their way onto the point like a sloth, but Chicago are just being dominant and aggressive off point and not giving up easy deaths. Feels like whenever we go to a Chicago point of view, they are fighting for their life, doing some crazy movement or staying in some good cover, right? Like right now, they could be aggressive, they could push those enemies in light blue, but they decide to just play their cover and make the enemy push onto them, and it pays off with 3 down for Seattle right there. While Hunted are just kind of playing with their food right now and just letting this lead grow.
Yeah, Seattle Sloths doing phenomenally better though than they did in the previous hardpoint, if you ask me. They finished with 122 total and are already at 116. Granted, Chicago is still up by about 80 points, give or take. But Seattle Sloths putting up a much better fight. They do have some bright spots. They are at least closer to breaking even than they were last time. But still, when your best players are dropping 18 for 23 trying to compete against someone going 26 and 12 or 23 and 17, it makes things very, very difficult. Adam here on the outside, slipping and sliding, sees the tip of their gun, gets the wall bang, pushing it with the pistol now, wants some more. Oh my goodness, Adam on an absolute tear. A beautiful job. T on the outside trying to protect. They're lining them up, but it's not enough. And the 100-point deficit is going to be there, I think. Seattle Sloths doing their best to prevent it. But Adam, again, another two-piece. A 32 bomb now for Adam as they climb ever closer to that illustrious 250. Seattle Sloths just got dominated in the hard point, to say the least.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see the final score of this game because it's gonna be comparable to that first map. It feels like Seattle have a good idea of what they want to do with the objective, but they aren't finding the kills when they decide to push off spawn. It feels like their awareness is just a little off, and Chicago are able to get easy 2 pieces without much uh, without much in having the enemy fight
Yeah,
back, honestly. And it's something to take note of. If you just take an extra second or two to look around, see
beautiful team
where
push.
what information is given, as we see a nice little team push to close out
Game,
this map,
set, match.
uh and map right there. It's definitely something that I hope Seattle can reflect on, because Chicago just took easy information that was given to them and went to town on these maps and popped off. I think we saw
100%.
someone in chat said T was demolishing, and Adam deserves MVP right now as I look over and see that pop up. Do you
It's
have any?
32 and with the pistol, no less, running and gunning,
Yeah.
dominating here on the video store on Rewind, I should say.